Hey, I'm Jessy and welcome to my channel, Jessyherdollup. Here I share with you beginner-friendly crochet tutorials for American Girl dolls or similar 18-inch dolls. So hang out with me and I will show you how to dress your doll up Jessy style. This A-line shell skirt with a ribbing waist is what we're going to be making today. If you're interested in the top that you saw in the previous picture, be sure to check out the first link in the description for that. For this project, we will be using a medium number 4 weight yarn and a 5.5mm crochet hook. Let's get started! Okay, so we're going to start out with a slip knot around your hook, so do whatever method that works for you, and then we're going to go ahead and chain 5. So to chain, you simply yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So there's 2, this will be 3, 4, 5. Did I say 5? I meant 6. So our band is going to be 5, but what is going to happen is right here, we're going to start in the second chain from the hook. So this is our first chain from the hook. This is our loop around the hook. So we're going to go into this space with a single crochet after we've chained 6, right? So we're really only going to have 5 stitches. So take your crochet hook and insert it into that space, and then I'll show you how to do a single crochet. So we're going to yarn over and then we'll pull through. There are 2 loops on your hook now, and I'm going to yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops. So that's a single crochet. I'll show you it again. Insert, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through again. Okay, so we're just going to do that all the way across. And once we get done, like I said, we should have 5 stitches. Okay, there is our very last one, and now we're going to chain 1. So to chain, remember, you just yarn over and pull through, and now we're going to turn our work, and we're going to do the same thing. So this is going to be the first chain from our hook, which we just made, so we're not going into that, and then we're going to go into this right here would be the second chain from our hook, but what we're going to do is go into the back loops only. So normally when you crochet, you're going to go through this loop and this loop. This time we're just catching this back loop, okay? So I'm taking my crochet hook, I'm going into that space, I'm going to yarn over, come out, 2 loops on my hook again, yarn over, pull through, okay? So then we're just going to do that all the way across. Just remember, back loops only, and that's what it's going to create, kind of that elastic effect and give us our waistband. So again, when you get done with this row, you should have 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we did it right. And it's kind of starting to give like that elastic fill. And then we'll do the same thing that we did before. We're going to chain and we'll kind of flip our work, turn in this direction. We're going to skip that chain and we will go into the very next stitch, which is the second chain from the hook. Back loops only, remember. And then again, we will do 5 single crochets. Perfect, there you go. Okay, and we're just going to repeat that. So now chain 1, turn your work, do the same thing, 5 single crochets into the back loop only, chain, turn your work, do the same thing, and we're going to do that for approximately 40 rows. So I will show you once we get to that point. How long mine is. It's about 10 inches. Okay, and here I'm just going to wrap it around my doll real quick, see if it's fit. It's pretty loose, got some stretch. We could have made it smaller if we wanted it to be more tight fitting, but for the most part I don't think this is gonna fall off. Okay, and I like to end my work with the opposite of where my tail end started, so that when I join together I can work this in and I don't have to work my ends in. I don't have to weave them in. I can just work them into my work. So I have my ribbing, my desired length, and I'm going to go ahead and just chain one, and then we're going to bring them together and we're just going to slip stitch. So into, this is where we just did a chain, so there's no back and front loops. So there it is, but I'm going to grab, to finish this off, these back and front loops and then go through just the chain there, and no double or single crochet, it's just a slip stitch, so pull everything through. Okay, I'll do that again. Grab this back loop, just go through this chain, yarn over, and then pull all the way through everything. Do it again. Okay, yarn over and pull through all that. So it's going to be a little bit noticeable, but for the most part it isn't. We've just seamed it together, okay? And so now from here we are ready to start our double crochets for our first round. So I'm going to chain 2, and that's going to count as my first double crochet. Okay. So then after that, I'll show you how to do a double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go into the next space, and because I'm working my tail end, I'm just working around it. Okay, and then I'm yarning over again. There are 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So all that was is a double crochet, and then we're just going to do that into every stitch all the way around. Can you guys hear the kitties meowing? Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops. So just 1 double crochet into every stitch. So we're just going into the stitches that are easy to find. So this space right here. Okay, and then there's no need to like try to get your needle in between there, just where it like naturally, there's a space. So we're going into there. Okay, and then, oh, there's a space right here. So we're going into that one. And then here's our space again. So there's kind of like 2 stitches in between each ribbit. So like this would be a stitch, this would be a stitch, this would be a stitch, this would be a stitch. Okay, so to finish off round 1, we'll just go into this last stitch right here, finish up our double crochet, and then we'll go to the top of that chain 2 we did to start. So there's our chain 2, and then kind of when we went over, so in between the chain 2 and where our double crochet starts, we're going to insert our hook, we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through everything. So that's just going to be a slip stitch. If you finish the first round, you should have 40 stitches all the way around. So if you ever need to like take a break or try your project on your doll, you can put a stitch marker in where you're working so that you don't accidentally undo your work. Okay, so now we're ready to start round 2. Go ahead and chain 2, 1, 2. And we're kind of like in our slip stitch right now. So in this stitch very next to it, we're going to go ahead and do a double crochet. So for this chain 2 is going to count as our first double crochet. This is going to be our second crochet. So we're going to go into that space. I'm going to yarn over, and again, just do a double crochet. So pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 more loops. Double crochet, done. Now we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to go back into this same space and do a double crochet. So we're going to do a shell stitch is what we're doing, which if you've made any of my other projects, you should probably have it down. Okay, so now here's another double crochet. Okay, so there's our shell stitch. So what it is a double crochet, but in this case it was a chain 2, and then a double crochet, a chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets into the same stitch. So there's 1 shell stitch. Now we're going to skip a space and we're going to do that again. So this time we'll go ahead and just start with our double crochet. We're going to yarn over, we'll go into that space, come out, there are 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 2. So 1 double crochet down, here's going to be another one. Okay, and then chain 1, and then back into that same space with a double crochet, and then 1 more time into that same space with another double crochet. So again, what we did is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all in the same stitch. Now we're just going to repeat that, skip a space, and then begin your next double crochet in the next space. So we're going to do this all the way around for round 2. So at the end of round 2, you should have 19 shell stitches all the way around your skirt. Okay, so what we're going to do once we come to the end is we will just finish up. So here's our last double crochet that's part of our shell stitch, and then we'll go into the top of that chain 2 that we did to start. So we'll go through it, we're going to yarn over, pull through everything. So we just did a slip stitch, and now we want to slip stitch into essentially the center of our shell. So we'll just go here and we'll do another slip stitch. Okay, and so now we're ready to start our round 3. If you're not changing colors, just go ahead and chain 2 here. If you are changing colors after you did your slip stitch, we're going to drop this yarn, and then we're going to pick up our new color, and there's no need to do any knots or slip stitches or anything. You have it laying over your hook, and then you're just going to pull it through, make sure that stays dropped, and then with your tail end and your working yarn, you're going to chain 2. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, and we're going to work these together until they work in, but we want this dropped part to stay in. So this is going to count as a double crochet for our next shell. And so I'm kind of making sure that I'm catching my dropped yarn, and then I'm yarning over, gonna pull through. So it kind of looks crazy. It's like I have 6 loops on my hook right now, but I'm just doing a double crochet with my yarn doubled. So I pulled through basically 4, and now I have 4 on my loop again, and I kind of ran out of my tail end here. If yours was more doubled, then you would have more doubled going on there. So just that's a good way to work your yarn in without having to weave your tails in later. If you just wanted to not worry about that, you can just weave your tails in later. So what I have here going on now is 2 double crochets. So now we're gonna do our chain 1, and this round 3 is going to be exactly the same that round 2 was, except for if you're changing colors, you just want to make sure that you work your dropped color in. So it's just going to kind of lay flat on top of where we're working. And we're going to do a shell on top of a shell. So this lays flat. I'm going to yarn over and I'm ready to go into the space where I've chained one. And we'll just do what we've done before. So 1 double crochet followed by our second double crochet, chain 1, back into that same stitch, making sure we're working around our dropped color, and then one more time. So round 3, like I said, is just a shell on top of a shell. If you are doing the dropped color change, you're just working the dropped color on top of your stitches, and you're going to go in between your shell where you chained 1. So you'll jump over here, you'll do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet into this space, and then you'll do it again here, and you'll work your way, not there, but here you'll work your way all the way around. So I'm going to meet you at that point. Okay, so at the end of round 3, you should again have 19 shell stitches on your skirt. All right, friends, so here's how we finished our round 3, whether you're changing colors or not. So we'll finish off with just this double crochet on our last stitch, and our color is still dropped, and then we'll find the top of that chain 2 that we did. It's kind of bulky because our yarn was doubled when we did it, and then just do a slip stitch, okay? And then you're gonna work into this next one, another slip stitch, but if you're changing colors, make sure you pull up your dropped yarn and do them both together. So you have them both on your hook and then just pull through. So it's another slip stitch. And now we'll drop this pink color and we'll bring forward this darker color. So, and if you're not changing colors, you're still just going to chain 2 here, like so, from the center of our previous shell. So then yarn over, that counts as 1 double crochet, that chain does. And then we will do another double crochet. Okay, and so this round is also just going to be exactly like the previous 2 rounds. So just a shell stitch on top of every shell stitch. At the end of round 4, again, you should have 19 shell stitches. And we will finish round 4 up just the exact same way we did round 3. So go to the very top of that chain 2, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull all the way through, creating a slip stitch, and then jump over to where the chain 1 is of your shell stitch. And again, we'll do a slip stitch if you're using the same color. If you are changing up colors, make sure that you grab your changing color yarn from behind, go into that space, yarn over, and then pull everything through, and then again we'll drop our color, and then we'll start with our new color, a chain 2. So for this project, it's kind of going to have a front and the back. In the front, you won't be able to see anything, but in the back, we're going to have these yarns right here, which aren't too noticeable, but it's way better than weaving in your tail ends. So this round is just going to be the exact same as the previous 3 rounds, a shell on top of a shell. This is what the end of row 5 looks like. We have done 4 rows of 4 shell stitches on top of each other. So now for round 6, we're going to do something different. Okay, to finish up round 5, we'll finish it like we have all the other rows. So go to the top of your chain 2 and do a slip stitch. Just pull everything all the way through, and then go to the center of your shell stitch. And this time grab your drop color if you're switching colors, Make sure you get that, and then just pull everything through, and then you can drop your color again. These are the same steps. If you're not switching colors, just ignore the back piece of yarn. And now we're going to chain 2. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, so now we're going to do a the same thing we've been doing. We're just going to add 2 more double crochets. So this chain 2 counts as our first double crochet. So now we're going to go into that same space and make sure we have our dropped yarn around if you're doing that method, and then we're doing a double crochet here. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 more double crochet before we do our chain 1. Okay, so there's 3 double crochets all into the same stitch. Now we'll chain 1, and we're going to do 3 more into that double stitch, or into that same stitch. So here's 1. This will be our second. So we're just making our shell stitch bigger, and that way it's gonna widen out our skirt, and it's gonna give it more of like an A-line look than a bell look. But if you wanted to do like a more bell look and not have it fanned out so much, you could just continue doing the same shells that we've done in the previous rows. Okay, now we're going to jump to the next one, and it's just going to be the same thing. So we will do 3 double crochets into the stitch. Okay, and then chain 1, and then do 3 more double crochets into the same stitch. Okay, so that's how you do that. We're just going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So go in here with a double crochet 3 times, chain 1, go back in with 3 more double crochets, and do that on top of every shell stitch. So here's what it looks like at the end of row or round 6. We're really starting to get that A-line look. And we will again finish round 6 the same way we finished all the other rows. So the top of that chain 2, slip stitch real quick, and then the difference is we're going to add 1 more slip stitch because we have those 3 double crochets instead of our 2. So then once we get to the center, grab your back dropped collar, make sure you got it. Holy cow, we got it. And then the struggle is real. And then just pull everything through. And then row around 7 is going to be the exact same as round 6 was. So go ahead and start with your chain of 2, and then do your 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 more double crochets all the way around. So this is what the skirt looks like after row 7. While we're here just for fun, let's play the put a finger down challenge. So we're counting down crochet related scenarios, and if they apply to you, put a finger down. So put a finger down if you've ever dropped a stitch and had to frog the entire project. Ran out of yarn in the middle of your project. Been asked to make a crochet gift for someone. Put a finger down if you spent hours crocheting and realized that you've made a mistake. You've used a crochet pattern and now lost it forever. You've been in a crochet group where everyone is more talented than you. Put a finger down if you use crochet to relax and unwind. Put a finger down if you've made something amazing on your first try. Just kidding, no one ever does that. Put a finger down if you felt proud of something you've completed. And put a finger down if you've ever had to explain to someone what crochet is. Yeah, that's still a thing. Some people don't know. Let me know in the comments how many fingers you still have up. Okay, let's get back to crocheting. Round 8 is going to be the exact same as round 7 was. Okay, to finish up round 8, do just the top of that chain 2, and then do a slip stitch. And now round 9 is going to be my last row, so I no longer need this pink color because I don't need to carry it with me anymore. So I've just did a slip stitch, and then I can go ahead and pull everything through, pull it tight just to make sure nothing comes undone. So what we want to do is we want to match it up with the same look that I have going on this top. So it's more of like a scallop. So I don't want my other color to start in the center of my shell. I want it to start in the end. So I'm going to pull it from the back, and then again I'm just going to do a slip stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to yarn over it, and I'm going to do double crochets now into this space, so the top of the shell, but we just slip stitched in between the shells to start that. Okay, so we'll finish up this double crochet, and we're going to double crochet 8 times into the same stitch, and I'm just working this tail end in as I go, just like I did when I had it dropped. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and now in between these shell stitches, we're gonna grow all the way around and just do a slip stitch. So pull all the way through. Alternatively, you could also do just a single crochet if you wanted to as well. So now we're gonna do the same thing into this next stitch. Perfect. So once you have your 8 double crochets, again, you're going to go in between the shell stitches and just wrap everything around and do a slip stitch. And then you'll start in your next one, and you're going to work that all the way around, and then you will have your skirt complete. Here's what your finished product looks like. When you get to the end, remember to weave your ends in. I think it turned out pretty cute. Here we have our final look with our skirt complete and our sweater as well. If you want to learn how to make this sweater top, be sure to check out this video. Thanks so much for watching.